Hello, 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 dreamers. Perla here, as always. Thank you for all your love and support. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and do so. We would love to have you. So this is the weekly collective message. My love, I, hmm, I'm inviting you this week to really sit with yourself. And again, before we jump into this, and I'm going to put it in the caption, please use your own discernment. If it's not for you, it's not for you, right? There is a sense here where some of you know that the current situation that you are in right now is temporary. Whether this is a struggling financial situation, whether this is a relationship or a platonic, right? Like a job situation or whatever it is. You know that something is meant to be temporary, but you're still giving it permanent access or permanent attention. Like you're worrying about it. You're okay, we'll use finances as an example, right? Let's say you got laid off, or you are in the midst of like transitioning from one position to another or whatever it is, and money is tight, right? There was an emergency, something burst, something broke, and you had to fix it, and this and this and that. And it's like, hey, remember what you've been doing, remember what you've been working on, right? Getting into a space of not just believing that everything is going to work out for you, but knowing that everything is going to work out for you, right? So what is it that you're supposed to do? I'm not saying like go and be like in la la fantasy land and be like, oh, I'm just going to like ignore it, right? No, it's like sit down with yourself, really assess where it is that you are at financially. And what is it that you need to get yourself out of that shithole? What is it that you need to get yourself out of that spot? Because you have to remember, if we're looking at the energy of money as an energy frequency, right? You want to have the same relationship that you have with the energy of love, right? With the energy of joy, with the energy of money, right? And it comes down to that energy exchange, that energy frequency. If you're constantly feeling afraid or scars or whatever around the energy of money, it can be very difficult for someone to feel like they know that spirit has their back, to know that money is going to come in. You know what I'm saying? Like some people are not able to override or bypass that space within their body. And this is where getting to know your body is very important. This is where I'm not saying that you need to meditate in order to manifest. I'm not saying that you need to hear in order to manifest, but it sure the hell does help with the process, right? Because when you learn to meditate and you learn to allow things to show up in your mind, allow them to just show up without you needing to get attached to them or anything like that. Feel where it is that they land in your body, how it is that they land in your body. Then you get to really be connected with your physical body and what it is that your spiritual body is trying to say to your physical body. And then once you are attuned to that, manifestation becomes very easy. And there is a sense here that, okay, let's put it this way. This morning I was drinking a coffee. I was sitting on my table in the kitchen, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, what is it that is surfacing up? Like I am not. The last couple of days, I'm not gonna lie, with the kids getting back to school and all of this other stuff that we have going on, I was kind of like, shh, like saying like that to like my spirit. I was like, shh, not right now. We'll deal with it later. And then this morning I was like, okay, now it's later, and I was like, okay, what is it that you want to show me? And there came this energy of excitement, and when I'm feeling it, I'm like, oh shoot, the energy of excitement for my body, anyways, feels the same as like my body interprets excitement and danger as the same thing, meaning it feels the same. And I'm talking about my own personal experience, my own body, right? Because I spend a lot of time studying. So when I get excited, I have to make sure that I'm saying like, oh, I'm excited, so that my body understands like, yeah, we also feel this when we feel like we are in danger, but right now we are excited. And it's almost kind of like that thing where when you get to know what it is that your body is saying, you can speak it out loud to kind of like reaffirm or confirm to your body like, yeah, this is excitement, not fear, right? And these are the things that unfortunately a lot of us, because we're always, fast moving, always going from one thing to the next, we never really have a moment to kind of sit down and quiet. And again, I am human, and I am guilty as charged. Like I do this from time to time where I'll be like, shh, I'll tell my body like, shh, not right now. And it's like, bitch, what you mean not right now? We're gonna amp this to like 100 till you pay attention, right? But there is this sense where if you learn to listen to that part of yourself, if you really learn to have that, I don't know if to call it a relationship or to like really be in sync with yourself, then when you're going through things that are temporary, whether you want to phrase them good or bad, or however it is that you want to phrase them, you don't get so stuck in them thinking that they're going to be permanent. So for those of you that are struggling like financially and stuff like that, like just know that this is coming to an end. But you do have to address your relationship with finances. You have to address your relationship with the energy of money. Every time, constantly opening your your app or checking your bank account or whatever and constantly being afraid of it is not going to help. You're just going to keep on aligning with that energy of scarcity, right? One of the things that I always tell clients is like the first thing I want you to do is write down every single penny that goes out, every single bill, no rounding it up, no assuming. Like with the light bill, I know it fluctuates. So with that, you can kind of make like an assumption, right? Based on what it was around this time last year. Write down to the last penny, like the money, what amount of money you want to for eating out, how much money do you want for entertainment, how much money do you want for shopping, all of this, and write it down and look at that number, and trust me, when you're walking in your purpose, when you're walking in the knowing, not just the believing, but the knowing and the trusting, the spirit is going to come through you. It doesn't matter what that number is. Every single month you're going to hit that mark. Every single month you're going to hit that mark. I have people that tell me, I don't know how you do this. Like, how are you affording? And by no means, I don't have like this extravagant lifestyle, anything like that. Not yet. We're working towards that. But I had to really work on my relationship with the energy of money, the dialogue, the things that were said to me when I was a child in relations to money. Like, I've had to work on all of that in order to get to a point where I now know what it is that I'm speaking out into existence. And I'm not afraid to speak it out. Can these things be done by bypassing, your emotions or without regulating your nervous system and all of these things? Yes, they can be. But sooner or later, those emotions, those feelings that are there will surface and you will have to face them. So that, and I'm going to leave that with whoever it is. Like, again, we talk a lot about all of these things that we want to achieve and that we want to get, but we also have to have the understanding that we are in this world, we are in this planet, we are in this earth, and there are things, there are certain, I guess if you want to call them like rules to the game that we need to play within. And once we learn what those rules are, once we learn to play within those fields or whatever, it's like anything that seemed impossible becomes possible. And I don't know if that's making sense. I really don't know where it is that this reading is headed, because the main thing, again, that I was picking up was this energy of like something was meant to be temporary, but you're treating it as if it was permanent. So if you knew that a connection with somebody was just supposed to be a summer thing or a hooking up thing, stop catching feelings for that person. Remove yourself out of the situation if you feel yourself catching feelings and you know that this person doesn't want the same thing. Stop putting yourself constantly in these positions where you're constantly hurting, you're constantly worried, you're constantly anxious, because again, something was meant to be like, let's even put it this way, like you were invited to an event and all they had were hors d'oeuvres or dessert, and you came in hungry without eating. You came in fasting because you thought that there was going to be a feast, and it's like, nah, bitch, and the invitation is set. It was nothing other than snacks. So stop going into situations that you already know what they are. You already know that they are temporary. Stop going into these situations with a permanent mindset, because all you are doing is holding yourself back. As hard as it is to understand or to believe or whatever it is that certain people come into our life for very specific reasons, they come into our life for certain seasons. The same thing with situation. If you're having money issues right now, this is not a punishment. This is not the universe being mad at you. This is a wake-up call from your own spirit, from your own soul, saying, hey, here's where the issue lies. The issue lies in your relationship with the energy of money. Why are you demonizing money? Why are you so worried that every time you come into money, it's going to just like disappear? Remember that when you are consciously speaking things out into existence, they're going to manifest. As long as every part of you is in agreement with what you are sending out, that is what is going to manifest. This is where personally, again, we're talking about me, I prefer to work with a regulated nervous system in order to work with manifestation. Now, a regulated nervous system does not mean that you don't feel emotions. It does not mean that we suppress them. And it does not mean that we're always in a state of high or joy or anything like that. It means that when an emotion arises, we meet it, we observe it, we feel it, but we don't allow it to consume us. We don't allow it to become our whole identity. And we do not allow it to take the driver's seat or the lead. right? Because there's a lot of things out there where people are like, oh, you're not meant to be like a regulated nervous system just means being able to bring yourself back to your baseline, whatever that baseline is for you. And not staying in this energy of fear or anxiety or depression where it overtakes or over like just takes a hold of you. So I feel like I needed to clarify that because a lot of people get confused when I say that, like, oh, we're not meant, yeah, you're right. We're not meant to always be like in the state of joy and happiness, like where we're so high that we are completely ignoring and suppressing like things that make us sad and etc. Like I could be as happy as I can be or as joyful as I can be for something good that is happening in my life. And I scroll or something pops up and it's like, a dog, a puppy was killed or a baby was killed, like whatever it was, right? Something that is sad. And for that moment, I can sit in that sadness and be like, damn, like, and have sympathy for whoever it is that is going through that. But I don't have to stay there. That doesn't have to become my identity. I hope that clears it up for you guys. Let's go ahead and let's see. Do we have anything with the cards that wants to come out? And yes, guys, I have a ton of like cards all over, but these are my main deck that I like to use. These are almost as old as me, I want to say. All right, they were my mother's, but she doesn't practice, so now I have them. Anyways, yeah, when you address whatever this dialogue is, for some of you, again, it stems from childhood where maybe your parents really never went for more and never really wanted more. They were always content with what they had. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, because even people that, let's say, live off grid or all of these stuff, they have to have money coming in to support that lifestyle, right? Because especially if you're in the States, anyways, in the United States, you still have to pay taxes on that land, whether you own it or not, right? Now, if you're in another country, it may be a little bit easier for you to get by with less money or anything like that. But even here in the States, if you're trying to go off grid, like there's still things that you have to pay for, right? So what I'm saying is, like, stop demonizing, stop making your relationship with money such a bad thing. It is not. And for those of you that this has to do with, like, a career choice or a romance, like, hey, let's stop forcing situations that are not meant to be in our life long term. If somebody has already shown you that their interest in you is not something long term, then walk away, babe. Walk away. You're not here to fix anybody. You're not. You're here to experience life, to go ahead and heal the things that you feel you need to heal, and heal them in a way that you feel you want to heal them, not the way that other people want to. Again, healing something can just be as simple as acknowledging that something is there. You don't necessarily have to forgive someone or have to allow anybody back into your life. That is just my personal opinion on that. You do that whatever you want. As your closing message, we have the Knight. Be brave and be honest. You're needing to be honest with yourself during this time. You're needing to be honest about what it is that you're giving to a situation that has run its course. You're needing to let go of this. Whether this is a person, whether this is, again, a perspective, a thought pattern, or whatever it is, you're needing to sit with yourself, be honest with yourself, and be brave enough to walk away from it. Well, that is all that I have. Sending every single one of you love, strength, and blessing, guys. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.